Welcome back to Knuckle Podcast. Oh, hold on. I keep picking up some type of static or something. There we go. Sorry. Welcome back to Knuckle Podcast, episode 53. Website, mooseknucklepodcast.wordpress.com. I know it's been quite a long time since episode came out. I think about 8 months or so. So the problem was I used to use this app on Google Drive to host the podcast for free. They kind of put a stop in general to third-party apps that were doing that, so I didn't have a way to host it for free. I figured out a way how to do it. It's not the best solution. So if anyone listening has any ideas how to do it for free, let me know, but it's working. I haven't really been up to much other than school. A couple weeks ago, hacked a chunk of my finger off trying to cut squash, so that was it's still healing. The doctor man, I'm not doing well. Consistency is how you get better, and I obviously have not been doing that, but they seem to think it'll heal fairly well, so we'll see. Time will tell if I'm some type of weird 9-fingered freak. Just kidding. I have most of my fingers really just the tip. I'd say at the tip. Maybe I got about, it looked like to me at the time about half of it, but it's already kind of started to grow back. Plumped up a little, so maybe about 2/3 by now, but we'll see. I don't know. Anyways, what to talk about? I didn't really have anything specific planned since I haven't done this in a while, and I just wanted to do it to get it out to start being more consistent again. I'm sure a lot of people, I'm not sure. That's just a weird way to say things. No, I'm not. Jesus, I'm terrible at this again. I know a lot of people are talking about Trump right now. I didn't really have too much to say about that. I mean, I have lots of thoughts. I don't have a lot to say other than I do have one kind of conspiracy type thing, I guess you could say. You have to know a little bit of a background about Trump. So obviously he's involved in construction in New York. That's how he reportedly makes a lot of his money, which I highly doubt. I'll get to that. But if you look, he's consistently sued by smaller companies who worked on larger projects for him in New York. And he essentially drowns them in money. It costs them more than they have to fight him. Say they're just a company that does windows, and they work on this one project, and they essentially, oh, we got this huge project. They extend themselves, assuming though it's going to be a big payoff because it's a big job for them. And then Trump will not pay them, citing some type of inconsistency in what he requested or subpar work. So he'll essentially not pay them. But the odd part is he says they do, in most of these cases, he says they do, half-assed or shoddy work, but he doesn't go back and correct it. He just leaves it how it is. Now, why is this important? Because it allows him to collect more money for buildings he's not actually building that other people are building. But this is also important because related to him, he did not release his tax returns, essentially showing how much money he has. And I believe that's because he's not actually a billionaire. I don't even think he has $1 billion. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have, a couple $100 million, but I honestly don't think liquid assets he even has $1 billion. Some of that being, he cites the Trump brand being worth $2 billion, which is just a made-up number to him. Oh, it's worth $2 billion. But the point of all this is, so he kept saying he'll build a wall, right? I think originally he said it was going to be $8 billion. I believe this week they told him it was probably going to cost double that. Now, I don't know if the wall is ever going to get built, but if it does, I have a theory that you will see large sums of money from that project somehow make its way to Trump companies, thereby making him richer. He doesn't... People always say he's an idiot, he's a moron, which he is for the most case. But he's also, I don't know, good at a few things. He's very good at reading a crowd, somewhat of public manipulation. He's not good at business, but he's good at putting himself in a position where he can profit from work other people are doing. So I believe that's why we may find out if the wall gets built, because I'm not entirely sure it will get built, because we just don't know what's going to happen. It's so early in his term right now. So also, it's a dumb idea. It's not like the only illegal immigrants come from Mexico, or I guess really, if you want to be realistic, that would be South America, and they don't all just come up through Mexico. So it would essentially be a waste of money, in my opinion. That's really the only thing I have to say so far. You guys know everything that's happening with him right now and have your own opinions about it. He's making a lot of dumb decisions, in my opinion, but as you can see, I think the system still works somewhat. The Ninth Circuit of Appeals said essentially what he was doing was illegal, halted his travel ban. That shows we still do have at least somewhat of a balance of government, I believe. You got the judicial checking the executive branch, which is how it's supposed to function. So I always point out to people, yes, we should be concerned about what he's doing, but it's not like he's an emperor, I relate this, and people are just freaking out, relate this to the people who said Obama was going to create death panels when he created Obamacare, and of course that never happened. We have a system here. It may not be great, but it's still a system. People can still do things even though we're becoming less and less effective due to corporate money, but we still have some power, and we still have some checks and balances. So you just can't act like he's some crazy emperor who has all reaching power and we're just fucked. That's just not true. So I say, stay vigilant if you're concerned with what he does. Watch it, be realistic, because that's one thing people are saying he's anti-gay. He's definitely said some very xenophobic and racist things, but as far as I know, he hasn't actually said anything that's anti-gay. He's definitely insulted specific gay people, but I don't believe he's actually said anything homophobic. I may be wrong about that. And you may say, well, what's the point? Well, I think, consistency and truth is important, especially right now. I haven't really heard too much about it, but at the beginning of the week they were saying some about how some was it NOAA, the national, it has to do with weather, or maybe it was NASA, I forget which one, had basically fudged some of the numbers when it came to climate change. So that could have been, though, just blowing it out of water. We'll see. But the point is, when you do things like that, it allows, I don't know, it just allows, you can introduce doubt. And once you have doubt, the other side, whichever side it may be, left or right, the opposing opinion, once you have doubt in what was supposed to be factual, that's a funny thing to say right now, you can essentially disregard the rest of the facts. Because once there's sort of a crack in the dam, the rest of the water comes through, so to speak. But I'll move on from that. I will say, though, the one good thing about Trump being president is that you're always told as a child, anyone can become president, anyone can do it. Well, with him in there, it's pretty much true now. Apparently, you can just say whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter. So you're not lying to your kids anymore when you say anyone can be president. What else have I been up to? I watched the movie Sing Street the other day. It was not what I expected. It was, I would not say it was a great movie. It takes place in Ireland. I believe in about somewhere in the 80s is what they make it seem like. It definitely has some decent original music, I guess you could say. It's no That Thing You Do. If you haven't seen that movie, look it up. It came out in about, I don't know, somewhere between 92 and 95 would be my guess. They play the main song, That Thing You Do, way too much. But it is a catchy song, so check it out. But anyways, there's this little redheaded kid. I honestly couldn't, I'm gonna say I caught like half of what he said through the entire movie, because just his accent is so ridiculous. Because it's all real Irish kids, as far as I can tell, that are actors or want to be actors or something. There's a few background kids, I think, that maybe they just got. But anyways, this one, I just don't know what the fuck he says half the time. And I gave up trying to figure it out and just went forward. But it's not a great movie, so you could probably just skip it anyways. But go check out That Thing You Do. Watching that movie made me think of that. Has Tom Hanks in it. I forget who else. Just make that sound for a while into the mic. I also started watching Braveheart last night, because I don't think I've ever actually watched the entire thing. I know the gist of it. William Wallace, fighting the King of England. Blah, blah. You can take our lives. That's a terrible accent. I'll stop there. You know the rest anyways. But I was thinking, watching Mel Gibson, I was thinking about that. I don't know, it was quite a few years ago now when those crazy rants came out. And he just yelled, "Blow me," like as loud as he could. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, could all of that have been avoided if she just gave him a blowjob? Like, would he have just calmed down? Are we really just seeing a dude who just lost it because he's never been blown for like years? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he's been famous for quite a while. I don't know, I guess he's an average looking guy, but he was successful, had some money. He probably banged a lot of hot chicks and got used to it. And then maybe, he just became older, less attractive. More women with him just for his money. And maybe he just, there was a point where he could probably I don't know, sleep with the chick, let's say he could easily find a 10 in LA at least once a week, right? She'd probably blow him too. I'm talking Lethal Weapon times, right? And probably Braveheart time. He's still probably pretty famous then, as far as we didn't know he hated the Jews yet and that type of thing. But maybe he just got so used to that, you know, I mean, you become accustomed to a certain type of life. It's like they say people who lose a limb return to the relative same level of happiness in about 13 months. So maybe this is kind of the opposite of that. He was close enough to still just getting pussy how he wanted on the regular that when he started dating this other chick and they were in a relationship and just the months of no blowjobs added up and he just fucking snapped finally one day, and that's why we have all those recordings. All of this could have been avoided if she would have just gave him a blowjob. Who knows? I could be completely wrong. Just my opinion. I don't know. Oop, almost yanked my headphones off. That's only about 15 minutes. That's a good start back, I think. This is episode 53, I think it was. I'll try to be more consistent about these again. Website is mooseknucklepodcast.wordpress.com. I have a link to the email on there, so if you want to email me, go ahead. I don't know what you'd be emailing me about, but hey, I'll try and read it. Until next time, this is Hunter. Bye.